7-0 Central on top of Creighton Prep at Al Cornelia Field as we start the second half. And it's Central back to receive, as we erroneously reported earlier. We said that it would be Creighton Prep returning the ball, but we have bad memories, and it is Central starting off on offense. And gang tackling and carry up to about the 23-24 yard line.
Well, an opportunity for Central here to come out in the second half. As we mentioned, thought Creighton Prep had the football, but yes, they did receive. So, of course, we stand corrected. But, this is a big drive for both teams. For Creighton Prep's defense that, for the most part, in the first half, was guessing a little bit because his Central offense, nice mix of the run. They've been effective in the passing game. We'll see what kind of adjustments this defense has made.
Tillman on the lead play with Oliver leading. And Tillman picks up substantial yardage, maybe a gain of 7.
Now, you see Tillman once again going to his face mask, and they had an issue with that. He's going to come out of the game once again. I think there is some kind of equipment malfunction with his helmet. You saw right before halftime he had a situation with the helmet. Now they're going to have to work on it again. You got to have him in the game. He's one of those guys that we already talked about, a team that is playing, there's JV quarterback who's looked very good. Kuhn has looked outstanding. But you can't afford to lose Tillman.
Actually a gain of 8 on first down. Here's Julian Jones, picks up the first. Gain of 4. And actually, I think he might have got an eye gouge or something.
You're right. Yeah, it looks like they got the contact solution in there. Looks like might be putting a contact back in there. So looks to be okay. Looks like he'll be able to go as soon as they get that situation corrected.
Hopefully they don't have to amputate the eye.
Oh my goodness! Why would you even say something like that?
I'm just saying.
I just made my eyes water.
Hall Oliver on the handoff on the end around, and we saw a flag come in late, I believe. Or it might have been a fumble, actually. Let's see. Yeah, it is a fumble, and Prep's got it.
Well, you saw they were trying to work that end around on an inside give, and this gets disrupted right at the handoff. Now watch, right behind the quarterback. He gets the ball late, and then you have the collision there. And it looked like Hall, he never got the football. Hall Oliver was, I think, was supposed to be the recipient. I'm not sure because there was such a delay from that snap.
Creighton Prep just 17 rushing yards in the first half. See if they get that corrected here in the second.
Well, and this is just a huge opportunity for Creighton Prep. And if you're Tom Jaworski, you've got to make sure that this team is fired up. You got the opportunity to get back in this game. This is their chance once again to take a turnover, convert it into points, to establish themselves offensively, and just more importantly, establish momentum, which has largely been just insignificant throughout this game.
So gain of a pair, 2nd and 8. Looking deep downfield and tipped away last second by Ballou. Doing it for the little man, 5'6". Ballou, number 22 for Central. 5'6" and a $140, and a senior, representing short men all over the world.
Kinkowski just running the simple seam pattern. A great ball thrown. You see it's ahead, but wow, look at the leaping ability. I mean, that's outstanding. A great job by Ballou. I mean, he was literally lunging to the football and got it by the tip of his fingers to prevent a touchdown. That's an outstanding defensive play by Ballou.
Now 3rd and 8, crossing pattern, incomplete to Kruger. So normally a typical Creighton Prep drive, you're seeing maybe 3 runs, and then a first down, maybe a pass to keep someone honest, but it has been working out to where they get 1 run and then 2 passes and 3 and out after the turnover.
This is go territory for Tom Jaworski. I don't think he's going to mess around anymore. He wants to send a message to this team. You guys got to get this figured out and do it now. They're going to go for it. It is one of those situations where you're kind of in no man's land here. You're at the 34, too long for a field goal, but you're probably too close for a punt. I don't think this is a bad idea to go for it here on 4th down.
Play action, hook, looking, and complete. First down to Hobbs. Huge conversion on 4th down.
Yeah, mark that play down if Creighton Prep should get back into this game, because it's a 4th down and 8. And once again, I don't know if Tom Jaworski was necessarily going for it because he really wanted to send his offensive message. I think they were just kind of at that point of the field where you almost have to. But a perfectly executed play. You slide your running back out. Coverage, he's hooked up against a linebacker. You usually like that matchup. And Hobbs is able just to run that little out. Great job by Hook setting up, throwing, getting them the ball in space, allowing them to pick up the first down.
Now Mizar has a chance, looking for the corner, and into the end zone. Touchdown Prep.
Well, not the typical Creighton Prep fashion of smashing it in between the tackles. This time Mizar showing his speed to the outside. Watch him, he's going to bounce it out. And that is just pure speed, getting to the corner against some very fast central defensive backs, and just slides it right into that near corner of the end zone. And that is huge. It's going to be interesting now to see how Creighton Prep responds defensively after this touchdown, after converting points from a turnover.
No problem on the extra point, and we're tied at 7. We'll step aside. Plenty more to come on the Cox Game of the Week, presented by Iowa Western. Mizar gets Creighton Prep on the board. (1620) The Zone, your home for Friday Night Lights. Every Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Updates and scores from around the metro area and the Omaha's Sports Zone, a free publication available at several retail outlets throughout the metro area. Coverage of high school, college, and professional sports.
They actually used it this time, which is awesome.
Here's the return, and Ballou pushes it to about the 30-yard line. Let's look at that last scoring drive by Creighton Prep. 5 plays, 36 yards, had to do a lot of it through the air. Key 4th down pickup to Cody Hobbs, enabling them to convert on the turnover.
So each team has turned a turnover now into points, which is huge. And for Creighton Prep, it couldn't have come at a better time just to get them into this football game. And I'm sure there was some confidence that was chipped away a little bit in that first half. And on that 4th down, if they don't pick that up, you just wonder what the psyche is for the Junior Jays. But they do. They get the touchdown, and now it's a different ball game.
Kuhn has pressure from behind and is horse-collared to the ground. Welcome to varsity football. Joe Kankowski with the sack.
Oh, you saw that one coming. They tried to attack his blind side earlier with Snyder. Now he's picked up. This time Kankowski able to attack the blind side, this time untouched. And if you're Central, you're just hoping that Kuhn was going to be able to get a throw off there. Such a dangerous situation to expose a young quarterback to a hit like that. But he's a tough kid.
Kuhn throwing on 2nd down. Adams again. And Adams in 1st down territory. Depending on the spot, he did get it.
Well, and that's so impressive. If you're Peyton Kuhn, you just get rattled by Kankowski on that sack. You get hit blindside. You come back up. You step up and make a big throw. Once again, putting the ball perfectly. I mean, absolutely just delivering the ball perfectly. He knows exactly where his receiver is going to be. He has so much confidence, especially in Josh Adams, and putting the ball to a spot and knowing that Adams is going to get there. I've just been so impressed with his ability not only to throw the football, but having confidence in the route running by his receivers.
Up man this time, gain of 4. You raise a good point, Nick. I mean, there's a difference between a JV quarterback playing on varsity and, because you tend to expect, like last year with Miller North, and I forget the young kid's name at the moment, but he came in and Miller North really was limited in what they could do. But in this case, he just looks like a varsity quarterback.
Yeah, they've opened things up. I'm not seeing any sign of holding the offense or the playbook back, and he's executed it very well so far.
Tillman running hard, trying to get to the 49 of Creighton Prep for the first down. They'll be a couple yards shy here.
But, I mean, yeah, you go back to just mentally preparing for not only a game like this, but a season when you're expecting to play from JV to varsity. And it's a big difference. I mean, don't underestimate the fact that JV football is JV football, but when you're playing varsity football, you take that first varsity hit, I mean, it's a world difference. I mean, absolutely a big difference from what you were experiencing. But he's able to keep his wits about him and make some plays.
Run blitz here. Kuhn somehow squirts ahead. He had to get to the 49.
He's going to be close.
He'll be very close here on the broken play.
And if you have one knock in Peyton Kuhn's game so far, it has been some very key center exchange problems. Now, he did have a backup center in at one point, but there you see the ball goes to turf. He's able to alertly jump on it, and then he kind of gets a little shove there by Jabari Tillman and may have shoved him enough to get the first down. We're going to have a measurement here. But if that's the case, talk about having the ball and the breaks go your way. But when you want to beat a team and you want to pull off, which I think people would say this would still be an upset if Central wins this game, you got to have those things happen. You got to have the breaks go your way as well.
Look at the measurement. It'll be close here.
You got it.
Yep. And he came up kind of favoring that hand that was smashed under his shoulder pads. But I think he's at the point where he's like, I know I can't come out.
Well, yeah. Then you're looking at maybe the freshman quarterback or somebody coming in. Who knows who would be coming in. But I'll tell you what, he's just been outstanding tonight because he has battled back from a couple miscues. And I talk about getting rattled on that blind side. He's able to come back and make a good pass. I mean, those are the things you want to see. If you're Jay Ball and developing a young quarterback, you want to see that ability to obviously correct mistakes and to be able to take hits and make plays when you need to. And so far, he's done that very well.
He's getting a crash course on quarterback development. And this time, incomplete.
Ooh.
Very close. Very close, Kyle Lacey. We do have a flag down back behind the 50-yard line. It'll be holding on Central.
As we talked about making good decisions, of course, it's the way it always works. Sure, Kuhn throwing into triple coverage, not what you want to do. So right now, after the penalty, once again, you know, it's a situation for him to make a play again. And for this offense to kind of rise to the occasion. They've been able to do it throughout this season, or throughout this game so far. And you're backed up here, first in a mile. But we'll see what this offense can do. They got 3 opportunities to try to draw closer to that first down marker.
Kuhn throwing on second down, looking deep, and picked off. Intercepted by Jake Efferding. And there's number 5 on the season. And he battled for that one, too.
He really did, and we mentioned Efferding. That's the one guy you probably want to stay away from, especially in double coverage, and you're going to see this ball kind of get hung up in the air. We said not the strongest arm has been putting it in the right spot so far, but this time, once again, throwing to that inside of the field in double coverage like that, you want to get that outside shoulder and allow your receiver to be the only guy that can make a play. That one goes to the middle of the field, and in double coverage, that's the one place you want to avoid because generally it's going to get picked off, and not a big surprise that it winds up in number 80 in Jake Efferding's hands. His 5th interception as he lengthens his lead in Class A with interceptions. Came into tonight with 4 of them. Now there's number 5. And, I mean, I'll tell you what, he's just a ball hawk. He is all over the place. And any time that ball's up in the air, he's generally in the neighborhood trying to make a play.
So see if Prep can capitalize on this turnover. Dumping it off to Hobbs. First down and then some.
Look at options there. Charlie Kruger on the near side seam was wide open too. There you see the play action once again. He's going to check down out in the flats to Hobbs, and then watch Kruger come in. He's going to put a pop right there. Just a big message sent there. Victory Davis was the recipient of that hit by Kruger. He was wide open on that near side seam though.
There's Hobbs again, or check that Mizar, and he'll gain about 4 or 5. Got a little star power down here. Cody Glenn, Zach Potter.
TJ O'Leary.
Yep, a couple former Creighton Prep junior Jays right there, O'Leary and Potter.
Actually, O'Leary was Millard North. He's a long snapper now for the Huskers.
No, I'm going to say he went to Creighton Prep.
Well, he might get mad at you. I actually coached TJ O'Leary in baseball.
And then Cody Glenn, of course, linebacker out of Rusk, Texas. Huskers got the weekend off, getting ready for Virginia Tech. Second and 6, here's Hobbs again. Runs right into Ryan Washington, who makes the tackle.
And you look at a guy like Zach Potter. He was just a man amongst boys his senior year here at Creighton Prep. TJ O'Leary, another very good player for Fred Petito and that Mustang team. And, of course, Cody Glenn, not a bad high school player in his own right either. I'd like to see what Cody Glenn would do in Nebraska high school football. He probably would stand out a bit, I would think. What an athlete he is.
Yeah,
anytime you can become a Division I running back and make a successful transformation to a linebacker, yeah, you're doing okay.
In 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
Hook on the play action. He has speed and has the first down and then some. Tripped up by Goff. You get the sense that Creighton Prep is a little more confident, a little more focused. Haven't seen the penalty flags come in. They've been executing pretty well on this drive.
Well, there's a bounce in their step, and you're going to see the speed of Alex Hook and why he can hurt you in more ways than just the arm and leading that offense. So you see the speed that he does have, good vision. I want to go back to that play once again by Kruger, as I mentioned, how he was open on that seam. You talk about unselfish play, coming back to make a big block after he's streaking down the field. Those are the little things that you love about this Creighton Prep team.
There's Hobbs making people miss. Up to the 30-yard line. Mizar, check that.
Well, I think what you're seeing, too, is Creighton Prep doing a good job of mixing in the run and pass. Now they're about 50-50, and it's becoming a little bit more effective. And we talk about those gains that are 2 and 3 yards in the first half, now starting to stretch out a little bit. We saw it against Westside, and that was a big case of that offensive line really wearing down that defensive line for Westside. That might be somewhat of the case here.
Mizar right up the middle. And I think you're right, Nick. You're seeing that surge on the offensive line that you were not seeing in the first half.
Well, yeah, those holes are opening up, and you saw the Central defense do such a good job of initially closing those holes so fast, and right now they're just not getting back to fill the gaps. So you're going to see a large hole. Great block there by Hobbs, too. In fact, Mizar doesn't get that gain. If Hobbs can't make that block, that's just a huge clean-out block there.
And Brian Bell, one of the defensive tackles for Central, he was limping a little bit in the first half, number 76. I think he's still favoring one of his legs. He's having a little trouble here in the second half as Mizar again pushes into that second level for Central.
Now this is that true Creighton Prep drive that we've been so accustomed to seeing right now. They're mixing in some pass, but now they're getting successful gains on the ground. That's where Creighton Prep feels so confident. They feel so at home offensively when they can do that. And once again, you're talking about a Central defense that has just been playing so inspiring so far. But once again, the depth isn't all that there.
Prep's just coming out with 2 tight ends, taking it right at Central. That should be enough for the first down. Ball was loose, but I think there was already a whistle blown, so the play's dead.
But, I mean, what more can you say about the game planning by Central going into tonight's game? I love the way they attack the run, how they put the pressure on the arm of Alex Hook. I mean, right now you're seeing Creighton Prep become vintage Creighton Prep. But you can't count out this Central team right now. They played such a good game to this point. and any J-ball coach team is going to be playing to the very end. So even if Creighton Prep should convert this into a touchdown, you can't write off the Eagles, especially the way they've been playing tonight.
Now they go full house backfield. Ball loose and picked back up, luckily by Hobbs.
And that could have been the break that Central needed right there, because obviously Creighton Prep with a lot of momentum. But it will bring up a 4th and short. I just think the way Creighton Prep's been moving the football, you got to go for it here, and it looks like they will. There you see great pop there, and the ball comes down.
Right back to him.
I believe that was Devin Taylor making that hit. Here's a big 4th down.
Play action. Hook. Looking in the end zone. And caught. Touchdown, Creighton Prep. Charlie Kruger.
Well, you're going to see great patience by Alex Hook on this touchdown pass. He goes through his progression all the way to those check down receiver, which once again was Hobbs. We've seen him use that outlet pass in tonight's contest, and he actually looked at his outlet and his check down and then went back once again to Kruger as he kind of broke off his route and turned it back to the inside of the field. That's just a great job by Alex Hook and staying with it, knowing someone's going to come open. He had one-on-one coverage with Kruger. He kind of ran almost like a square out pattern. You're going to see it here. The play action there. He's going to move out. He's looking, and then finally Kruger moves it to the inside. He was kind of positioned to the outside. As soon as he moved it back inside, he knew he had him isolated and delivers the football. Great patience, great catch, well-executed 4th down, and that's twice now that Creighton Prep has had key 4th down conversions, this one into a touchdown.
Hook up with Cox Business, just one call to make for video and data services. And phone, of course, 934-3227 for Cox Business. Some of our production crew, Mr. Gary Repair, in one of the end zone cameras. Nice job by the Cox crew tonight.
We're actually going to elevate him about another 20 feet. But we heard he was afraid of heights, so he didn't do that.
Nope.
Okay, I'm just lying. That would actually be me. In fact, that'd be too high for me. That's why I'm up here, secured in a press box.
Yeah, about 10 stories up. You're actually higher up than him. But your point is noted. Return from the 20. And up to about the 30-yard line. Alex Holst on the return. Last scoring drive by Prep, vintage. 5 minutes and 5 seconds. A touchdown by Charlie Kruger from Alex Hook. Gutsy play call on that 4th down, too, to go ahead and play action and pass it.
Well, I like it because you have an athletic quarterback that can not only pick up the 1st down with his legs, but he can also do it with his arm. He did it with his arm this time, but I mean, he's a super quarterback in the regards that he can hurt you both ways.
Here's Jabari Tillman.
Okay.
And the running game for Central hasn't been overwhelming, but it has been pretty consistent all night. They've been picking up some decent yardage with Tillman and Hall Oliver and others.
Well, I like the way the offensive line is held up. I think that's really the unsung hero so far for Central in this game is their offensive line, which I'll tell you what, I expected to be somewhat manhandled by this Creighton Prep defensive line, a much bigger and more physical defensive line, but this Central offensive line has held their own, and they have created opportunities for this running game to be successful.
Now on 2nd and 4. Taylor on the carry, Devin Taylor, one of the backup fullbacks, a senior.
But yeah, you have to look at guys like Julius Sanders, Gary Todd, Jordan Lee, Cody Wells, Chris Reed, of course the tight ends as well. They've done such a good job, and I really think establishing not only having the lead at one point, but just keeping that Prep offense off the field. And I know that's frustrating for them. Kind of been throwing their game back in their face.
1st down again, Tillman again. Tillman driving. Pickup of about 3.5 yards. Getting close to the fourth quarter clock here.
You know, you still look at this Creighton Prep defense, too, and this quarter's going to end here, but I'll tell you what, they look a little bit winded still.
So that'll do it for 3 quarters of play. 2 third-quarter touchdowns by Creighton Prep have the #1 team in the state in the lead by 7. Coming back to Al Cornelia Field for the fourth quarter after this on Cox. Next week on the Cox High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Iowa Western, we're across the river, Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln. All kinds of storylines in that one. Sorry, Dad, I'm no longer enrolled here was his sign. A transfer.
Well, you normally don't see that high school sign, but a Creighton Prep and preparatory school, I'm sure his father might be upset. A lot of money.
Flags on the play.
Flags come in on a 2nd down and 7.
That's the great thing about going to Creighton Prep. You can hold up that sign. It doesn't work at any other high schools, really.
False start penalty on Central.
Football procedure.
I'm always a fan of creative signs.
Football Central High School.
You always have been.
I have.
So here we go with the remainder of the Game of the Week schedule. North and Burke in a couple of weeks. A couple of Sarpy County showdowns, and we end the regular season with Millard North and Millard South. Then the playoffs start on the 26th. We'll have all 3 rounds.
Thanks, Coach Mora.
No problem. Second and 12. Here's Hall Oliver. He'll gain maybe 3.
Hall Oliver.
Now the Central offense still showing no signs of letting up. Still trying to be creative here. Now this is going to be an interesting 3rd and long here. You're close to midfield. Once again, interested in the play call here. I mean, I got to assume that Kuhn is going to go to the air, but are you looking to try to stretch this field out here? Also looking for that slant pattern that has been so effective. And Josh Adams look for 41. He's going to be on the far side.
Instead, we'll get a timeout by Central. Nope, timeout by Central. An important call coming up here. Maybe time for a little trickery, who knows?
Well, that's one thing Jay Ball is sometimes known for. He's got a creative offensive imagination. Tom Jaworski, guy that seldom goes into the bag of tricks, doesn't really need to. Tom Jaworski, one of those guys that, just continuing to come out every year with a great program that he has with this Creighton Prep.
High definition service is free with your subscription to Cox Digital Cable. Some new channels just launched, including NFL Network HD on channel 740. See the complete lineup at cox.com/Omaha. Call that number, 575-5400. Also with Cox Digital Cable, free on-demand programming, even Oxygen Air Karaoke in the free zone/music area. It's Goff in motion, play action, looking downfield, hooking up with Adams. First down and the chains move. That's why we pay you, Nick. That's why you're up here in this booth. You said look out for Josh Adams, and here we go.
Well, it was an out pattern, and once again, Kuhn doing a great job of throwing the ball right as his receiver breaks his route off. As soon as Adams broke his route to the out, that ball was there for him to make a play. If he waits a second later, then that Creighton Prep defender is able to make a play and knock that away. That's just great timing, and for a young quarterback to have that timing already down with his receivers, that's saying a lot.
Ball at the 44. Kuhn throwing on first down. Again, Adams, who gets crunched a yard shy of the first down. Right into triple coverage, beautifully delivered.
Well, he's finding that window, and that's been so impressive about Kuhn. Watch again. He's going to find that little window that he's able to fit it in there. If he waits a second too soon or a second too early, that is either an incompletion or an interception. His timing has been outstanding. I mean, this kid is only a sophomore, and you're starting to see that quarterback position for Central, when all the players get healthy again, there's going to be a pretty good battle going on.
Quarterback controversy that you're seeing?
I don't want to say controversy, but man, there's a good battle.
There's Jabari Tillman. And of course, Daryl Hawkins, the starting quarterback initially. Heck of an athlete. 6'4", 190 pounds, was a wide receiver last year. He brings a totally different dimension to this Central offense.
Well, and he's more like an Alex Hook. He's a guy that can run the football well. He's got good agility, can throw the football. You're going to see primarily Kuhn throwing the football, but man, he is doing it so well, and it's been his timing and his placement for the most part that has really stood out to me.
Tillman taking guys with him all the way to the 25. Man, you talked about it. He can definitely deliver a punch.
Well, and you saw the speed too, the acceleration there. As we mentioned, for a big guy, how fast he can be. And there you see the acceleration right through the hole, and that's what drives that pile back. Well, he's got a full head of steam going. And we saw that guy in the open field a little bit last year, and he displayed some very good speed. Going to get an official timeout now on the field. It's like an injured Junior J right now. That might have been the guy who took on
I think
Jabari
you're right.
Tillman.
Yeah, Joe Kaiser. Now, Prep is down a man tonight, Ryan Spellman, who we announced as a starter. Unbeknownst to us, Spellman was out of the game with an injury. He's one of the captains. Had a huge play last week against Westside, was able to make the pass breakup in the end zone with just seconds left on the clock to preserve that victory. And now Kaiser is holding that right arm, and it's already bandaged up pretty good.
Yeah, I get the feeling, Mark, that's a shoulder injury. I wonder if he had either a dislocation or some kind of a shoulder sprain. That's usually that type of equipment you're going to see, and it looks like he may have either re-injured that because it looked like he was favoring his shoulder, and I'm pretty sure the bandage you're seeing on there, that actually connects around your shoulder, and I believe he's not feeling too good right now. Looks a little woozy right now, actually. He might have actually just got concussed a little bit.
Kuhn on the fumbled snap picks it back up. And yeah, we're getting reports from our staff on the sideline that he just got knocked out. He was just kind of woozy.
He did look like he was pointing to his shoulder, but, I mean, obviously he may not have known what he was pointing to. I mean, when he took that helmet off, that looked like he was shaking some cobwebs out. And you know what? When you take a guy on like Jabari Tillman, it's probably been known to happen. Another center exchange issue with Kuhn and Jordan Lee. It's going to bring up third down, 6.
Saw Kaiser getting the standard questions. Do you know where you are? He's like, yes, India. Kuhn on the rollout. Incomplete to Adams. Would have been a first down.
Well, I wonder if his hands are sore. I mean, he's caught unofficially about 8 or 9 passes so far, and we saw he dropped that one in stride back in the first half, and this one, once again, right there in the hands. And sometimes you always say that's the worst place to hit a receiver, in the hands. I had a receiver when I played that would make the most amazing catches, but if you threw it right where it needed to be, he could never make that catch. And it was so frustrating. You almost figured you had to underthrow him, overthrow him, make him leap up. He could make those catches, but if you caught him in stride and actually did your job, he wouldn't do his. But obviously Adams has done his job tonight.
4th down and 6. Blitz comes. Kuhn pressured. Unleashes one. Caught. Was he in bounds? Saying he was out of bounds. Goff on the catch, but incomplete.
Well, and Goff obviously upset about that. It's so hard to tell from our angle. We're on the exact opposite end of where that happened. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. You're going to see Kuhn dropping back, throwing off his back foot, but still finding a receiver. And here's the catch where we slow it down. It's hard to tell. Looks like that right foot, just the toe might have hit the line. His left foot definitely came out of bounds, but that right foot, most of it was in, but it looked like just the toe box of that shoe just scuffed the out of bounds line, and just a game of inches.
So Prep asserted their authority on the last drive. A flag comes in on this one. But Central really with 2 passing plays that were executed pretty well on 3rd down and 4th down that both would have been first downs.
Right. So there you see the foot. It's that right foot that is, from our angle, most of it's inbounds, but you can almost kind of see where that shadow is in the right foot. It looks like maybe just the toes. I mean, it's so hard to tell. And that left foot, when he comes down with it, actually does land out of bounds. I saw that, but that right foot right there, that's the question. Unfortunate for Central.
Penalty was declined. Hook throwing on 2nd and 12. And caught. Great catch. First down. And the catch by Joe Kankowski.
Now, we talked about Peyton Kuhn being able to find windows, and here you're going to see Alex Hook do the same thing. Play action once again setting up. That's for the majority of the pass situations we've seen for Creighton Prep. They've been setting up off play action and just standing tall as receivers, stopping their route, just finding that little window, finding that little space in that zone. And Hook doing a good job of delivering to a big target.
Kankowski at 6'4", $190. Play action again. Hook wants to run it. Open field tackle by Jones. Still a sizable gain of about 2 yards, 3 yards.
It's going to see all that defense moving off to the right, so Hook's going to come back to the left side, or actually his right side. The defense is left. But still very good individual effort, good tackle, open field. Central still answering the bell, trying to make plays here and trying to get their offense on the field one more time. But we've seen Prep be able to really drain out the clock in situations like this. I'm kind of surprised they've gone to the air back-to-back here.
Protection holds for Hook, throwing again, incomplete. He's looking for Kankowski again. Clock stops, and now you got 3rd down.
Exactly. Well, you're seeing Hook, though. He's finding some holes, obviously, in this coverage. He's being able to fit the football in the coverage right now. That's, once again, kind of like what we talked about with Josh Adams. That's a catch that should be made. For Creighton Prep, now you got a 3rd and long, clock stopped, and for Central, this is a huge opportunity to make a defensive stand.
Little screen pass. And tracked down from behind, but a first down. Second time that's been an effective play. This time Mizar.
Now, and we wondered as we took a look at the halftime, or at halftime, we took a look at those first half highlights and saw that big gainer that they had in the first quarter, wondered if they'd go back to it, trying to catch Central pursuing. They knew on a 3rd down and long that they're going to have to pass. Defense electing to go after the quarterback. You get them over pursuing. You try to set up a convoy. Not nearly the gain that we saw in the first half, but effective nonetheless, and you get a big first down. And Coach Jaworski just livid down there on the sideline, having to burn a timeout. He is just so upset about something down there. I think there was a personnel issue as far as getting the right players in.
They only had 10 on the field. All right, we'll step aside during this timeout. 14-7 Prep with the football on Cox. Check out Friday Night Lights on 1620 The Zone every Friday night. Live updates from around the Metro, and of course, finals after all the games are completed. Pick up a copy of the Omaha Sports Zone, available free at several retail outlets for coverage of high school, college, and professional sports.
Well, you have to stop the clock because of substitution issues for Creighton Prep. So 6:43, Central desperately needing a stop here.
Mizar on the carry. And wrapped up. No gainer, if any. You hear that cliche all the time. Oh, it's the best 0-3 team in the state, or oh, the best. Really, this Central obviously not playing like an 0-3 team tonight.
No, they're not. And you look at the teams that they've played so far this year, and it hasn't been all that easy. They opened the season against Omaha North, lost 28-7. Then they were blasted by Burke 45-19. Then last week, a much improved and a very good Grand Island team, they're 1 point away from winning that game. They lose 7-6 in that one. So, they're showing improvement here. And I think last week against Grand Island, that was a tough one. I think they learned a lot from that game, and you're seeing it tonight.
Here's a 2nd and 9 with Mizar. Spinning off of one tackle. Wrapped up by Devon Pittman.
Well, and you go into next week, Mark, that's when all the district play starts. They're in District 3, and that district is absolutely loaded. You got Millard West in there, Papillion, La Vista, West Side, Bryan, it's a better team. Bellevue East is a better team. Of course, Millard West right now 3-0. Papillion, La Vista 2-1. West Side at 1-2, but that's a good 1-2 team. You got Bryan and Bellevue East both at 1-2 as well. So that is a loaded district. So if you're J-Ball, that's when you really have to get those wins. You got to go to work, and I think you're seeing the improvement and the team playing well at the right time.
Now 3rd and 3 with Mizar. Second effort will still be a little bit shy, but obviously in go territory for Creighton Prep.
Creighton Prep's district, not an easy one, not as loaded as Central's. They're in District 5. They got Millard South in there, which is a very good team. You got Omaha South, Benson, and Northwest. So you obviously like Creighton Prep's chances in that district, and that'll set up a big showdown in 2 weeks as they will play Millard South right here at Cornelia Field. And that'll be a really big game, obviously, with district title implications.
4th down and 2. Prep threw in this situation last time. They hand it off to Hobbs, right up the middle, right up the gut. And Hobbs fumbles into the end zone and out, and that will be Central football.
The touchback.
What an alert defensive play right there. And you could see it developing. As Hobbs looked back, you could almost see him realizing that was going to happen. And the club underneath the football as it gets knocked out. And I'm trying to see who the player was who knocked it out. That's just a great defensive play. Because there's a big gain. Why not try for this? And you're going to see Hobbs just breaks through. And let's see who's trailing the play. And you see the hand go up right there, too. That's number 7 for Central.
What a play.
And that is Rico Mountain. What a play, exactly. And I'm sure Coach Jaworski a little upset. Cody Hobbs showing the one finger as he's going up, kind of coasting the end zone.
What a heads-up play by Rico Mountain. That was a very alert play.
And you know what? That's a reflection. And I'm not trying to be a little over dramatic here. It's a reflection of Jay Ball, though, and what he brings. He instills into these guys, you don't give up no matter what the play is. And that's exactly what Rico Mountain did. He did not give up. He could have given up and let him go into the end zone, try to get their offense back on the field. But he knew, hey, I can still try and make a play. And that was huge for Central. But that's a true testament to this coaching staff.
2nd and 9. Adams, pass broken up. And penalty flags, it'll probably be a hold.
Yeah, right as Kuhn was getting ready to set up and throw, I think it was one of the Prep defenders, you could see a jersey coming away from his body. So that hurts, obviously, Central. But I'll tell you what, if you're Tom Jaworski, you are absolutely livid with Cody Hobbs. And not to say, Cody Hobbs, he thought he had nothing but end zone in front of him. But it's that one gesture he made where he put up one arm in the air with one finger, just showing the fact that he was thinking celebration a little bit, and then you end up fumbling. And I'm sure Cody Hobbs feels terrible because this team prides itself on fundamentals, playing the game the right way. And they do. They're a classy team, don't get me wrong. But the one time you show maybe a little bit of showboating, it costs you.
And am I wrong? Wasn't it 2 years ago that Prep had the same thing happen to them on a long touchdown run? the ball got, I think it was against Westside, it got fumbled out of bounds, and we talked about how that is one of the strangest rules in football.
You might be right, actually. Yeah, how if it goes out of the end zone, it goes back to the defense.
Yeah, you get all the way down the field. Timeout called by Creighton Prep. You get all the way down the field. You fumble it, and people fumble it. People fumble the ball. But if you fumble it out of bounds in the end zone, you lose complete possession of the ball.
You lose a possession. It becomes, in a game like this, it becomes huge. And there's the rockin' truck there.
The production crew right in there. Be our friend at myspace.com/watchourstuff. And normally about this time, producer Joe makes an appearance by stepping out of the truck. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
He's fist pumping tonight.
He's usually striking a pose of some sort.
Joe, one of the hardest working guys in the biz.
Run and flat. Run.
So this is obviously a huge opportunity for Omaha Central, but back against their own end zone here. This is where I'm very curious to see what J-Ball is telling this offense, what he has up his sleeve.
They got 91 yards to march and 339 to do it against one of the top defenses in Class A. Prep's defense actually has probably gotten better as the game has gone along. Prep ranked 3rd in total defense in the state coming in. Kuhn looking deep. Beautiful pass breakup. Efforting. Already has an interception tonight. Brings his total to a state-leading 5th.
Well, he's just so good in his pass defense skills. You see him never backpedaling. He finally turns and finds the football. Almost comes up with that one, too. But his technique, and you go back to Creighton Prep and how they preach fundamentals as a defensive back. You want to sprint to a spot. You want to get there, but still know what's going on in front of you. He turns his head right at the right time, makes a pass breakup, huge play.
Kuhn on the rollout. And almost another interception by Efforting.
You know, he could have had 7 because he dropped 2 now. He's had 2 dropped interception opportunities, and he has 1. He could have 7 right now. My goodness. Just tipped right through his hands. And he had nothing but a convoy and a lot of green grass in front of him, or I should say green field turf in front of him.
Right.
I want to be correct on that.
Goff maybe could have got that ball on the deflection.
Yeah. Which wouldn't be the first time we saw that happen against Creighton Prep, if you remember the conclusion of last week's Westside game. Then the jarring hit by Spellman, who did not play tonight.
Nate Bird calling for the fair catch. Prep will take over at the 48-yard line. Central still has some timeouts to work with. They have 2 left. 3 and out. Definitely what they're hoping for here as time winds away. You can catch free replays of the game of the week with Cox Digital Cable and on-demand channel 626. It's the high school football game of the week channel. Every game of the week available for 2 months. This one will be up probably by Wednesday. You can order it for free. Mizar stepping through up to the 34.
You're going to see just going, attacking at left side. She's been always so big. We saw it last week too. You kind of get that sense that this offensive line is kind of established themselves in this game. We saw it a lot here in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter.
Here on 1st and 10 is Mizar again. He'll gain a few, and a timeout comes by Omaha Central.
So now you're in timeout territory. They're going to burn these next 2 if they can hold Creighton Prep from getting a first down. So you'll have, should they get to 4th down, that's when your clock will be running. Well, they actually could maybe let the next play run. It'll be interesting to see. But it's going to be an interesting interesting sequence here coming up for the Junior Jays and for Central, too.
You know, with Creighton Prep, we talked about it some last week. It's not a team that's probably going to blow anybody out. But they are so frustrating to play against because they are so strong in the trenches.
Well, they're very physical, and that's where it starts up front. They're very physical. They have a great running game, and that's what took them out of their rhythm in the first half of this one because Central crowded the line of scrimmage, and they didn't allow them to muscle them around. They didn't allow them to get that running game established, and that's why I think you saw Central really put themselves in a good opportunity in this football game to have a chance to win it down the stretch. Now, they still do. The task is obviously a little large here, but Central still in a position to try to tie this game up if they can make a big defensive stand. But yeah, Creighton Prep's offense not normally accustomed. Now they did put 40 points on Lincoln Northeast to open the season, but since then the numbers have dwindled, but they played better competition too.
Mizar again skipping through and close to a first down. Will be about a yard short, and again a timeout called by Omaha Central.
So this is a big third down, obviously going to take a timeout. Probably good, and now you actually have a Creighton Prep player down, and that might be Hobbs. As you get a look at Mizauer as well. Yeah, that is Hobbs. He appears to be in some pain there. I think I just heard a score from public address announcer Barry Silverstein that Millard North defeated Omaha South 63-7. So obviously the Mustangs, after that 0-2 start, starting to figure things out. They played a tough schedule as well. I'll tell you what, though, you look at that district that Central's in District 3. I mean, talk about a loaded district. I mean, look down in that district. I mean, you could see several champions as far as picking the champion to emerge. I mean, you look at a West Side team that's good, Papillion La Vista, a Millard West team that's good. Bryan and Bellevue East are much improved. And you just got to win your district games. And that's what next week brings. We take a look at our broadcast schedule.
AL and TJ next week. North and Burke, looking forward to that one. Burke, from what we understand, probably suffered their first loss tonight at the hands of Millard West. North, not sure about that one yet either, but that's obviously a very good matchup. Yeah, Cody Hobbs now hobbling off the field. Now, if he's out, if he's out for any length of time, they've lost their starting backfield.
Yeah. We saw Brad Helt go out early in the first quarter, actually. Never came back. Looked like he had either what was a left shin or ankle. Might have been a high ankle sprain. Not really sure on that. Now you got Hobbs, who's not putting any pressure.
There's a third down and 1. And that effort will be enough for the first down by Mizar.
Mizar just picking that up, and yeah, you're right. That extra hop he was able to get. You know, and he's been a factor tonight. He had to come in and get a lot more carries than he's accustomed to. And so Mizar, who picked up a very key first down there, and now with no timeouts, as long as Creighton Prep takes care of the football here, they're going to escape once again with another close call. Looks like working on Hobbs. Could be a knee or an ankle, not really sure. But that could be a potentially huge loss.
Mizar again. He's had a significant amount of carries tonight.
Well, and right now, if you're Mizar and anybody else who should handle the football, all you're thinking is ball security. You know Central is going to be stripping and reaching for that football. You're trying to knock that thing loose. And we've seen stranger things. I mean, you still don't want to count out the Eagles with 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Clock stopped here. But that door is starting to close a little bit more each down here. But yeah, you go back to what Creighton Prep has done this year. They defeated Lincoln Northeast 42-20. Then they had to come back and beat Millard North 18-17, which was obviously a highly emotional game. Then you beat Westside on a play where Spellman basically jarred the football loose. I mean, Westside catches that ball and holds on to it. And that was the tight end Scold. If he catches that and holds on to it, they're a point after from winning that football game. And tonight you go up against a very, very scrappy Central group. And I hate using that term, but that's exactly what you saw. A Central team that I think is starting to figure things out at the right time of the year. with district play coming up.
Yeah, you can't count them out by any stretch. Second and long, Mizar again. Trying to bounce it to the outside, nothing doing this time. Maybe a gain of 2.
You know, Creighton Prep has shown the ability to really gut out games, and that's a good sign as well, because your guys show the ability, even though if you're not on your game that night, you can still do enough to win and withstand some great efforts that we've seen the last 2 weeks against them. But you look at the injury situation, if Helt or Hobbs or either can't go, you look at their schedule coming up. They got Northwest next week, then Millard South, then Benson, Bell West, and South. That game in 2 weeks. You hope those guys are healthy for Millard South.
Mizar skipping through. What a hit he delivers. First down, chains move. Mizar really got things going with that hit on Victory Davis. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, Nick Hanley down on the field with Tom Jaworski and our Acura of Omaha player of the game. And the victory kneel by Alex Hook. And they'll probably have to do just one more. And that'll do it for this one. Creighton Prep looking like they'll improve to 4-0, and Central, the defending state champs, dropping to 0-4. Very gritty performance tonight against the top-ranked team in the state. Coach Ball describing his group as a MASH unit. There we get a look at the coach right there, not accustomed to having this sort of record. Effort definitely there from his kids tonight. And that'll be the final play. And the number 1 team in the state will likely remain that way. And there's your final. 14-7, Prep knocks off a rival for the 3rd week in a row. Guts this one out, a 14-7 final. When we come back, Nick Hanley down on the sidelines with the head coach and our Acura of Omaha player of the game. Stay right there on Cox. 14-7, your final. Creighton Prep remains undefeated and knocks off Omaha Central. Down on the field now for Nick Hanley, Tom Jaworski, and our Acura of Omaha player of the game. Nick?
Thanks, Mark. Right down here with head coach Tom Jaworski and Nick Mizar. First, we're going to talk to you, Coach. And we talked to you last week, and you said this would be another emotional game, another spirited game against a team like Omaha Central that seems to maybe be playing right at the right time for them. But you guys got out another one. Talk about this one.
Well, we're just happy to win. I think especially in the first half we got out-hustled by the Central kids. And, we came back. We're still making way too many mistakes, obviously. But credits to Central for playing us, lights out. They played their butts off. And we'll just have to keep working and getting together. The good thing is we're 4-0.
Well, you look at the schedule you've had so far now. You go into district play as well. It gets even more important. But it seemed like that offensive line in the second half really started to kind of establishing kind of what we saw against Westside. Was that kind of the difference in you guys getting back in the game?
Well, I think our offensive line plays pretty well, and we run the ball pretty well. But I think Alex Hook made some big plays for us with the passing game, scrambles, and I think, we've got to be able to do that, and we got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, too. That's obvious.
Coach, obviously maybe some health issues going into it, but as we mentioned, the importance of district play. What do you talk to the guys this week as you get ready for a really important part of the season?
Well, we had health issues, but so did Central. Some of their better players, been out for a while. So, district starts next week. It's a new season, and we better be ready to go.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Enjoy it. Okay.
Thank you.
We're now joined by our player of the game. It's Nick Mizauer. And Nick, first of all, had to pick up the slack a little bit when obviously Brad Helt went down, and you were called on a lot tonight. What were you seeing out of this Central defense?
They're coming hard every play. The holes were there, sometimes. The line blocked real well, I think. But they're blitzing the holes real well, picking up all the blocks. And, they just played great, I thought.
Out of the first half, what you saw to Central, you guys going obviously maybe a little dejected. Did Coach or anybody kind of step up and say anything as you guys got ready for the second half? Anything inspiring or any adjustments that were made?
He just went in there and told us that we need to pick it up because we weren't meeting the standards, so that's about it.
When you look at a guy like Brad Helt going down and your opportunity to step up, you got a lot of carries last week against Westside, but maybe the bulk on your shoulders. Talk about just kind of changing your mentality when you know you're going to be the guy now.
Well, first of all, I just hope Brad's all right. I hope he comes back. But, it's tough. I'm playing defense too, so playing both ways is tiring. But, I just got to keep up working hard and stuff.
All right, Nick, congratulations and enjoy this, and we'll see you down the road. All right. That's our play of the game, Nick Mizauer, who was the workhorse, especially picking up some key first downs in the fourth quarter to put this one away. It was a close one, and we expected to see a battle out of Central, and we saw that, but Creighton Prep once again gets away, and they show once again why they're number one.
All right, Nick, thanks much, and congratulations to Nick Mizauer, our Acura of Omaha Player of the Game. Move up to a dealership that provides affordable luxury in both new and certified pre-owned. Acura of Omaha, just south of the Oakview Mall on 144th Street. Mizauer, 22 totes, 82 yards on the ground, had a first-half touchdown, and was delivering punishment all the way up until the end of this one. 14-7, your final. I'll join Nick down on the field. We'll wrap this one up from Al Cornelia right after this on Cox. Back at Al Cornelia Field as Creighton Prep gets the victory tonight, 14-7. Sluggish night offensively in the first half and even defensively for a little bit for Creighton Prep and end up with 247 yards. And they remain undefeated, now 4-0 on the season. Central drops to 0-4. Welcome back to the field. Mark Cranack alongside Nick Hanley. Let's start off with Omaha Central. 0-4 team, cliche, maybe not a typical 0-4 team. I think you saw a lot of guys who have been forced into action early in the season, earlier than maybe Coach Ball would have liked. I think you saw a lot of those guys respond in a big way. They only came up a touchdown short against the top-ranked team in the state.
Well, I was so impressed with Peyton Kuhn. He did such a great job in operating that offense, connected on some big pass plays. This is a kid that's only a sophomore. I do believe he's going to create a very big competition for that quarterback spot when everybody becomes healthy. But I was very impressed with him, and I was impressed with that offensive line. I think they're one of the unheralded heroes in Central's game tonight. They played very well. They stood their own against a very physical Creighton Prep defensive line. I like the way Central's playing at the right time because, once again, they do have district play coming up next week. And if you can see those signs of improvement at the right time, this is still a Central team that could try to play their way into the playoffs.
And then you look at Creighton Prep, undefeated. They're not pretty to watch. I mean, let's not say that. I mean, if you're a big fan of physical football, absolutely they're pretty to watch. But, man, it's just grinded out. It's ugly, but, man, it's effective.
It is effective, and you could see the frustration in Tom Jaworski when we spoke to him after the game with the penalties. That's something that's very uncharacteristic by this Junior J team, but the physicality doesn't change. They made the adjustments at halftime. They got the drives they needed to down the stretch. And we talk about Nick Mizauer as our player of the game. Only had about 82 yards, but this is a kid also who got about 20 of those yards in very key drives to get first downs and to keep that Central offense from getting a chance to get in the end zone and try to tie this game up. So I do like what you see up front. And this is a team that, once again, if they can figure out the penalty situation, they're as good as anybody I've seen in the state so far, as far from a physical standpoint.
All right, so that'll do it tonight from Al Cornelia Field. We are in Council Bluffs next week. It is AL and TJ. Same time, same place right here on Cox Channel 2 and on-demand Channel 626. For Nick Hanley, for the entire Cox crew, Mark Cranack saying so long from UNO, your final Creighton Prep 14 and Omaha Central 7. Good night.
He was directing. He was our director.